I've been a massive fan of the DC universe for as long as I can remember, but lately, Warner Brothers have been making very questionable and downright idiotic decisions with these characters that I have come to love over the years. The latest release from DC, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, exemplifies this belief of mine in many ways, but I'm not here to beat a dead horse. Everyone on the internet has already laid out in great detail why Suicide Squad failed to meet expectations on all fronts. Whether you were a longtime Arkham series fan like myself, or simply a fan of solid gameplay design. No, I'm not here to dump all over the hard work of the amazing team at Rocksteady, or to downplay the absolute hell that no doubt was this game's almost 9-year development cycle. Instead, I'm here to focus on Suicide Squad's larger place within the games industry today by talking about how it continues a disgusting trend that absolutely needs to fade quickly, and hopefully Suicide Squad will be the final nail in the coffin for this particularly despicable direction. What am I talking about? I'm talking about immensely talented studios like Rocksteady with a history and expertise in crafting great single-player experiences being forced to create multiplayer live service schlock in order to appease greedy executives and shareholders. Suicide Squad needs to be the game that finally stops this concept that single-player devs should spend their time and resources making games that they quite frankly don't know how to make or even want to make. And if the public response to Suicide Squad upon release hasn't already sent this message to Warner Brothers and all of the other major publishing giants, then I honestly don't know what kind of message will get through their thick heads. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League and Rocksteady as a development team are unfortunately only the latest in recent history to fall prey to the trap of live services and the false promises that they so often spew. There have been so many high-profile flops over the past few years from studios with an otherwise spotless track record. Teams like BioWare, who were forced to churn out the half-baked Anthem, Platinum Games, who vomited out the nothing burger known as Babylon's Fall. Crystal Dynamics developed the infamous Marvel's Avengers, which needs no introduction, and, rather ironically and more fitting for my channel, we can never forget Arcane Studios' severely undercooked Redfall. There are so many other high-profile flops from talented developers across the industry, too many to list here, but the point is that this has been a bad road that the games industry has been traveling down for the past several years. So how can we send a strong message to publishers across the industry to halt this practice? Well, many gamers have already started by voting with their wallets, meaning we shouldn't be spending our hard-earned money on purchasing lackluster live service games or their manipulative microtransactions. We've also seen many gamers buy into live service titles like Suicide Squad at launch, only to then abandon it in droves while requesting refunds, as evidenced by the game's razor-sharp drop in concurrent player numbers on Steam. Make no mistake, these are numbers and statistics that Rocksteady and Warner Brothers care very much about, and they are also keenly aware of, and the same goes for other far larger publishing giants. Another method that can be used to spread this message, and this method does need to be carefully managed by the entire gaming community, is to leave a critical, honest, and thoughtful review of these live service titles, so that the developers and publishers can see where they went wrong and figure out how they can avoid making the same mistakes. This is very different, I should add, from review bombing a game. Review bombing, in my opinion, is a net negative for gamers, as the developers and publishers will often just wave it away as hostile mob mentality, and they won't take any meaningful action because of it. What these companies need is genuine feedback and critical analysis. If our opinions and criticisms are coming from a good place, one of caring and compassion for the hardworking people who make these games, then these companies will be more inclined to listen. Constant coverage of these games that slant towards negative bias can be helpful, but they can also ultimately be harmful if, once again, they're not coming from the right place. Lastly, it may sound performative, but taking to social media and voicing your displeasure with live services, obviously in a civilized manner, can help to raise awareness among publishers and developers that these are not the kinds of games we want to see them create. We would much rather see them create games like these. Obviously, it's up to each individual person as to how they go about doing this, but I personally find tagging different publishers and developers with regards to how you feel about their games to be extremely potent. Oftentimes, they'll simply see it and move on, but other times there will be some form of acknowledgement, which means that a message, either good or bad, has been sent, and someone on the other side is listening. Now, these are just a handful of ideas that I'm just kind of throwing out there as to how we can stop this trend of lackluster live service titles being churned out by otherwise super talented teams. But another really important thing that I want to discuss here is how games like Anthem, Babylon's Fall, Marvel's Avengers, Redfall, and now Suicide Squad have really impacted the reputation of their respective developers. After the releases of these aforementioned games, there is no denying that the reputation of these studios, among many others, has been forever tarnished, and even though many of them can and hopefully will bounce back quality-wise with their future projects, the black mark left behind by these executive-driven and short-sighted forays into live service territory will forever haunt these companies. I do have faith ultimately that whatever game Rocksteady decides to tackle next will, at the very least, be a far better game than Suicide Squad, both in terms of gameplay and narrative quality, and also in terms of respecting the player's time and intelligence. There's no ignoring the fact, however, that many gamers' faith in companies like Rocksteady, like Arcane Studios, like BioWare has been significantly shaken. Many gamers will simply never play or purchase another of these teams' games ever again, and that's a shame because second chances are rare, especially in this oftentimes unforgiving industry. The onus is on us, the gaming community at large, to be more thoughtful, more considerate, and more critical with these games that we love and with the studios that help to bring these worlds to life. Okay, now I'm gonna finally step down from my soapbox, and I want to know what you think about the recent release of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, and I also would really love to know your thoughts on the live service trend that the game industry has been faced with. Have you played Suicide Squad? Are you tired of this trend like I am? Or are you invested in these live service games? What would you like to see Rocksteady work on next? Leave a comment down below and let's have a civilized discussion about these topics. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and share the video with others who may be interested in the content that I create here. Join my official Discord server where you can interact with my amazing community and myself and talk about a wide range of awesome topics. Lastly, consider subscribing to the channel for more cool content to come in the future, and be sure to hit that notification bell so you always know when my newest upload is available. And remember that the outsider walks among us. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I will see you next time.